Okay, Chaim, let's see. In my book, we're on page 54. Get out. Oh, here.
This is the house. Yes. No?
We have the blue books, or we're on?
I have a different Micha.
Huh?
I have a different Micha.
Okay, so we're in chapter 3, section 1, chapter 3, Yud Bet, 12. I see a new face here. What's your name?
David.
David. Where you from?
Live in Jerusalem. Originally from South Africa.
Where originally from?
South Africa.
South Africa. Whereabouts?
Johannesburg.
Joburg. All right, welcome. Okay, so we started Yud Bet last time, but we got stopped in the middle. So we're speaking about Adam. We're speaking about the goal of man was to. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us this holy soul, and He gave us this body, and the body was supposed to illuminate the soul. The soul was supposed to illuminate the body, making the body the student, the recipient, the partner with the soul. But the body was supposed to become elevated with the soul to a very high level. And then, if Adam HaRishon would have done that, it would have been right away started the process of what we call now Olam Haba.
Which section, please?
Chapter 3, section 1, chapter 3, Ot Yud Bet. Number 12. But then Adam HaRishon, for all different kinds of reasons, it went south. He messed up, and there was the sin of Adam HaRishon. And then what happened, like we explained, was now the body. It wasn't a very even playing field before. The Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, physicality and spirituality was very, very even, and man was placed exactly in the middle. And it was an easy, says the Ramchal, it was an easy path towards perfection and completion. But now it became different. Now the physicality became overwhelming the spirituality, and the evil in the world became overwhelmingly powerful, right? And so it's not an even fight anymore. It's not the balance was lost, and so because of that, HaShem introduced this concept called death, which death is that we work and work and work in this world. And we see that, and it's an uphill battle, right? And then, but the body because of the sin of Adam HaRishon, it's not able in its current form, to be able to fully receive the light of the soul, to really shine the light of the soul, and therefore the body and the soul have to have a separation period at a certain point, and that's what we experience as death. And during that period, both of them go through a process which enables them to come back together afterwards, and be able to live in the way that the Kadosh Baruch Hu really wants us to live, to receive the light that we're supposed to receive. But if we can't, it's impossible to do that in the current form. So therefore, it has to become separated. And we said that the body goes through decomposition, the things that are really scary for us. We spoke about last week, and then the soul goes to a place called Olam HaNeshamot, the world of the souls. And it's like a waiting period. And the soul waits for the body to decompose and to go through its process in order that it'll be reconstituted afterwards, and when brought back to life in Tchiyat HaMetim. And the soul is in this place called Olam HaNeshamot, and the Ramchal says that world, that place is like, it's kind of like Olam Haba. It's a place of tremendous spiritual satisfaction, but it's not the full measure, because the full measure of spiritual pleasure and connection with Hashem that we can have is only when we're together, the body and the soul. Right? And that only will happen when they become reunited in Tchiyas HaMesim, in the revival of the dead. Right? Ad Kan, that's what we said. And now in Yud Beis, the Ramchal is teaching us what's happening to the soul, a little bit more, what's happening to the soul in that waiting world. And by the way, just as we're talking about it, Olam HaNeshamot, it's happening right now. Right? All the neshamas that have already passed in this world, their bodies, right, are in the ground waiting for that special day. Right? And this is what they're experiencing over there. Yud Beis. Ulam milvad hayot olam haneshamos makom leneshamos leshevet bo kol zman hayotem mitzapot laguf. And even though that the world of souls, you guys all have it?
What page are we? Which kind of what?
And this we're in section 1, chapter 3, Yud Beis. You want me to find it for you real quick? And you got it? Like learning the structure of the sefer takes a little while.
Yeah, it's Chelek Rishon.
Right, Chelek Rishon. Page 27 in this one.
So the world of the souls, it's waiting for it to come back into this world now, or once we go through, we're there until the resurrection. Like, are we Gilgulim ourselves, or once the soul goes once?
Right. So Gilgul, the Gilgul, I'm going to shelf that for a second because that's a whole nother. We can go into it.
The problem is, in our world, it's a world of time because we're material, so there's time. But in the world, the world of the soul, the spiritual world, there's no time. In this moment, God is living the past, the present, the future. It's the same moment.
Right.
How can you do it? But up there, there's no time.
Right.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow is the same.
Right.
But here, it's not the same. We're limited with time, with the physical body, so it doesn't go together.
So here, Dafka in the world, in the Olam HaNeshamot, it's not like that really. Olam HaNeshamot, it's like a waiting room, in a certain sense, right? But it's not just a waiting room. It's definitely not. We don't like waiting rooms in this world, right? It's a place for the neshama to wait. Now that was like the introductory sentence before he's going to explain what they're really doing there, right? Aleph, they need a place to be until the resurrection. The resurrection is going to happen in some form of this world, the physical world. So is the world going to look like it does today? No, it's going to be different. Just like we said, like the Ramchal brought from Chazal, that says that this world as we know it is 6,000 years, right? That's the amount of time that we have that Mashiach can come and the beginning of the process of redemption can happen during that time, right? No more than 6,000 years. But there will come a time where the world becomes renewed. The prophet even says, I'm going to create a new world and a new heavens. Like the world as we know it is going to be different. It's still going to be a physical world, but it's going to be very different as we experience it today. What's it going to be like? Nobody knows and nobody can tell you, because the prophets didn't really explain to us exactly what it's going to be like. They gave us little remazim. The lion will lay down with the lamb and all that kind of stuff. Like the physical, as we know, just like the one thing, the way we can understand can compare it to is when we talk about idol worship. None of us has a Yetzer Hara to go worship idols today. That Yetzer Hara has been removed from us, so we can't really relate to it, right? As I'm talking about in general, there's a lot of things today that we call idol worship, but they're not literally idol worship is to go down, bow down to a statue, to kiss the statue, to give it a bath, do all the different things that they used to do. We don't have that yet, so we can't even relate to that anymore. And the whole world was crazy about idol worship back then, right? Crazy about it. So it's a little bit of an understanding, maybe like we can't understand what the world will look like. We're not going to have the same Yetzer Haras that we have today. We're not going to have the physical world is going to be different, the physical body is going to be different, and the soul is going to be different. The experience is going to be totally different, but it will be a physical world.
But I think we've said that if we don't accomplish what we need to in this world now, then we come back and refix. Right. So then what's coming back if the soul is staying in the world of the souls?
Right. The souls that are in that place called Olam HaNeshamot are the souls that they've finished their work. The Arizal, the Baal Shem Tov, Moshe Rabbeinu, as examples. Souls that haven't finished their work, so they keep on coming back until they finish their work. Right? That's the Kitzur version of what Gilgulim are, right? So, but yeah. So let's see. So what are the souls doing there? It's a place, Aleph, for the souls to be, while the body has to go through its process, which takes time. And there's another amazing benefit that happens there for the souls. That is also happening that also afterwards will benefit the body. Something that it's a preparation that they're going to both need in the world to come when they're rejoined. בזה אחר שהייתה גזירה על האדם שלא יגיע לשלמותו, אלא אחר מוות, אף על פי שכבר נראה לו מצד מעשיו עודנו חי, כי זולת זה לא היה מגיע לו מעולם, שהרי אין זמן קניית... So we're going to, let's translate a little bit more. I got ahead of myself. זה כי אחר שהייתה גזירה על האדם שלא יגיע לשלמותו, אלא אחר מוות. There was the decree after the sin of Adam HaRishon that a person will not be able to achieve their total completion, their total perfection until after death, right? Until they go through that process. Even though the person who might be a total tzaddik and totally be worthy of that through his actions right now, שהרי אין זמן קניית השלמות אלא בעולם הזה טרם המוות וכמו שזכרנו. עוד נמשך... So, because Hashem decreed, it's a decree. It was a decree, meaning Hashem decided that you're not going to be able to receive the full reward of that perfection until the next world, right? In this world, it's just not going to happen. That's just not what it is. In this world, it's a world of work where you're attaining it. And one of the reasons why that is because all the while that we're in our body, in this world, so our body, after the sin of Adam HaRishon, so evil got attached to our body, meaning bad, darkness, right? The words of Chazal is zuama, a certain type of filth. The bodies became more coarse. They became less able to or unable to really be able to fully receive the light of the soul. Right? The body in its current form will always cover up the soul. Whereas the real purpose of the body is to reveal the light of the soul. Right? So it does the exact opposite now. Right? And that's because of the residue from the sin of Adam HaRishon. It's impossible to rid, even if a person is a total tzaddik, it's impossible for him to rid himself of that residue. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu had to die. Nobody was as perfect as Moshe Rabbeinu, right? So what that means is that the soul is also dimmed. The light of the soul is also dimmed in this world, right? because the purpose of the soul is to illuminate the body. And the purpose of the body is to receive that light and to shine it out, right? They're supposed to work together in this symbiotic relationship. But since the body can't really receive that light, it's not able to receive that light, so the soul too also has to restrain itself. It's restrained in shining itself, right? Even though a person can do the most amazing spiritual acts, the most amazing wondrous deeds, that he should achieve through that perfection and glory, spiritual glory, it cannot be revealed to the body in this world. It can't shine to the extent that it should be shining to the body. Right? Just not thinking of a mashal, like a concert. The musician is very, very connected with the crowd, So there's a magic that takes place there. Right? The performance that's happening there is very much based on the interplay and the reception that he's receiving from all the people that are listening in the audience, right? If there's nobody in the crowd and he's just up there on the stage by himself, right? That magic can't happen. It's just impossible to happen. So, and he's not going to be able to play in the same way, right? The soul cannot shine. The soul is like confined in the body as it is right now. So it's always hiding its true light from the soul, from the body. And therefore, everything is just stored into it like a big battery, just storing all this amazing spiritual energy from all the good things that the soul does in its lifetime, right? And only in the future, when it comes back into the body, will it be able to release that energy into the body. And it's not being prevented because of the soul. The soul doesn't have anything holding it back within itself. It's just the body. It's just the body that's holding it back. שלא יקבל כל אותו הזמן הזיכוך שהיה ראוי שיקבל. And the body loses out big time on that because the body is not receiving. The body is supposed to be going through this amazing purification process, right? He's going to explain it a little bit more in a second, but it can't do that because it just can't receive the light. It's like talking two different languages, the body and the soul. Onam gam Himaf said that the soul also suffers from this. Because the soul is like, are there any musicians here? Yeah, artists. In any way, so there's a certain experience that artists and musicians feel. They experience a lot of times. They have something in. Not just artists. A lot of people feel like I've got something inside of me. I've got this like art, or I've got this message, or I've got this beauty inside of me. I have to reveal it. I have to get it out, right? And it's painful. It's almost like being pregnant and not being able to give birth. Right, to be able to do that, the soul suffers because the soul says, "I have so much light to give," and the body is like a piece of wood. It can't receive anything. It can't take it. Right, and so she's in pain because of that. And also she knows, the soul realizes, I'm not able to do what I'm really here to do, which is to shine to the body, to unify myself with the body. ואילו הייתה פועלת אותה, הייתה משתלמת בזה שלמות גדול מצד מהות הפעולה עצמה. And if she would be able to do that, then the soul would become perfected. And so both the body and the soul are very stuck in this state, in that sense, right? And I have this underlined in my book because this is a major klal, major fundamental. Attaining perfection comes through giving good to another, right? Why? Because if I give good to another, I'm emulating God. Our entire relationship with Hashem is that Hashem is hatov v'meitiv, is good, and he's giving, and he does good, right? The Arizal says that's the essence of our emunah. Derech hatov lehitiv, the way of Hashem is good, and that he does good. And so for us to do good, every time a yid does something good, so you're attaining, you're getting one step closer to perfection, to greatness, right? And the soul wants to give to the body, but you can't do it, right? ועוד שזאתי הפעולה הנאותה לה לפי טבעה וחוקה, ושלכך נוצה. And also because this is what she was created to do. This is what the soul's purpose is in this world. בכל נברא משתלה. So wait a minute, you guys hear something? You guys hear something that's crying out here? Everybody feels uncomfortable in this world. You guys realize that? Everybody's uncomfortable in this world, especially a Yiddish neshama. Extremely uncomfortable in this world. We work around it. We try to quiet that sense of discomfort that we have, right? We try to fulfill, give ourselves pleasures and all kinds of things to help us, get through the day and get through our lives, right? But there's a sense of discomfort that comes from our very first moment of consciousness, and it's with us until our last day. And that is this very thing, that we can't do what we're supposed to do. In this world, we're limited, and that limitation, we sense it, even without understanding it, even without never learning the Ramchal Derech HaShem. We feel it, right? We're supposed to feel that, meaning that's part of the state that we're in right now, right? So the system became tweaked, and the system is that you don't experience that shleimus now. You can't change that now. Now you just work and work and work, right? Keeping focused on what you're doing and connecting yourself and getting enough connectivity that it keeps you inspired enough to go through and to keep on doing it. Right, but the ultimate experience is really what it's supposed to be in the future, right? And that's very frustrating, right? Isn't that very frustrating? If you go to a life coach and they tell you you can fulfill yourself totally in this world, so it sounds great. I'll sign on. How many meetings do we need to have until I get it, right? And here I'm telling you, you cannot fulfill yourself totally in this world, right? Nobody wants to sign on for that, right? It's painful, but that's the Metzius. That's the Metzius, and denying that Metzius is not going to help us, right? It's just going to keep us going in a loop, right? But so listen to the Ramchal here. So he finishes this last sentence of this paragraph. He says, "Shlekach notzav v'chol nivra mishtalem keshepoel ma shechakak lo haborei yitbarach shemo v'yishifa." Every creation can only become perfected by fulfilling its purpose as Hashem created it for. And a person never achieves completion and perfection as long as they're not doing what they're meant to be doing, what they're supposed to be doing in the world, right? So I can find all different kinds of ways of making my life feel fulfilled and fun and good and filled with pleasure. I'm not really attaining any perfection and completion, as long as I'm not really doing what I'm really here for. So the ultimate question is, what am I here for, right? And what I'm here for is a more complicated process than just being able to achieve it today because it feels okay, right? Is everybody with me? It's already late. I think we'll have to. Maybe we could just sneak in one little short paragraph here, and then that way, and then next week we'll do Gimel. So when we experience death, and the body and the soul separate, they have this period of separation, and the soul goes out of the body. And she goes into the world of the souls. What does she experience there? This is what we were talking about. You guys remember what happens to the soul in that world of souls when the body's going through its process of decomposition? The soul spreads its wings. I was in like this little, Daled Almas little shack of the body, and I couldn't shine my light. I couldn't be myself, right? Have you guys ever had an experience in davening, maybe on Shabbos, or maybe Hisbodedus, like in your own personal meditations, where you just felt like, you just were able to let it all out, without anybody looking at you, without anybody feeling any judgment or worrying how you look. It's an amazing, amazing feeling. Those are the best feelings. I bless you every day. You should feel that and daven like that and take time and make that place and the space to do that. That's what the soul experiences in the world of the souls. No more limitations. I could just be me already. And she starts to shine her light. How does she shine? Right? She shines her light according to what her light really is, according to the deeds that she did in her lifetime. And to the extent that she was constrained and feeling in pain by being inside of the body all those years, right? Now to that very extent, to that degree, that's the degree where she expands and she feels the pleasure of being allowed to have her expansive light shine. But it's not just like a relief. It's not just an experience of relief. It's also an experience of preparation. Now she's able to shine in the full way, preparing herself that when she's going to meet the body once again, now she's going to be, there's nothing going to hold her back anymore. All right?
So you mentioned that we come here in order to try to perfect ourselves, but then you mentioned that it's impossible because of our limitation. But then these souls go into the world of souls, the ones that completed their perfection, but we can't complete our perfection because of the limitation. So
right. What I meant is, in this world, in this state, as the body is right now, before this process of the separation and the remeeting, in this state we can't reach our perfection. The ultimate perfection we will attain. Every one of us is going to attain it. But just here in this world, if we feel we're working, sometimes a yid can work so hard and feel like, I still feel this discomfort, because it's the nature of this state, of this period. But once the body goes through its reformation, and the soul goes through its stretching out and shining its light, and then they're going to meet back. And this is what we're going to talk about in the next piece. When they meet back up, what's going to happen? And that's the ultimate perfection. That's what we're attaining. That's what we're striving for, and that's the pleasure that we're seeking.
And how is the soul able to complete whatever it needs to, if it's impossible given the physical nature of things? All right.
It's kind of like she's able to in potential, meaning she's building and she's building and building. It's almost like lahavdil, a person who's saving and saving and saving, and he's being frugal with his money. He still lives in a shack, right? But he's got millions of dollars in the bank that he's saving and saving and saving. You wouldn't know that he's saving $1 million. It's just a number. right, on the bank account, because he's not experiencing it yet, right? But it's true that he's saving, and once he's able to spend it, so then it'll be seen. So that's right? We'll just finish the sentence here. And then that, so that when she goes back into the body, the soul goes back into the body at the right time, then she'll really be able to do what she's supposed to do, which is to shine the light to the body, right? And the body will have no choice, so to speak, and it'll be, since it's already gone through its own decomposition and recomposition, it'll then be able to receive that light, right? In other words, the purification of the body, the refinement of the body, as it's supposed to take place, will happen when they re-meet. Now the question is, and we'll speak a little bit about this next time, why doesn't that happen when, in the first place, Hashem takes our souls, which are extremely holy, and He puts it in our body when we're born, right? So why doesn't that, just the entrance of the soul into the body, automatically purify the body, right? So one reason what the Ramchal explains, which we'll see next week, is because Hashem decreed so that the light of the soul doesn't really influence the body to that degree. Hashem made it like that in order that we should be able to have this time of working to attain our perfection. But another reason why the others bring is because until the soul comes into this world, it hasn't really done anything. It's true that the soul is extremely holy, even before it's done even, one Shema Yisrael. The soul is holy. That's its essence. But the purpose of the soul's coming in this world is not just to be its own, kind of God-given holiness. It's to work. It's to attain goodness, right? So it does, and that's the extreme power, right? So as much as the soul is extremely holy, it's the holiest thing that's under the Hashem's throne of glory, right? But one Kriyat Shema, one bracha that we make, one mitzvah of tzitzis, one tefillah, one good deed, all those things are exponentially more powerful, right? And they really have the ability to purify the body. But again, since we're in this state where the body has just become too defiled, so to speak, because of the sin of Adam and Rishon, it's not going to work right now in this stage. It's just a preparation stage for the future. Was all that clear, gentlemen? All right, let's go do it. Sorry again for the minutes that we missed.
Is there traffic on the way or just in Jerusalem?
Just